We're part way up the Licola Jamieson Road, just stopped at a viewpoint, do some droning and just have a look around. The sun's finally starting to come out. We left Mansfield earlier this morning and it was quite warm. Once we started on the road it dropped down to 8 degrees. We were in shorts and t-shirts, so nice to have aircon in the car. Someone's demolished the old trig point with the old plaque on it and everything. These gum trees up here, we're quite high altitude, getting a lot shorter. Not quite in the snow gums yet, but not far off it. And most of the plants are alpine plants. On the Licola Road, we're trying not to hold the camera still. We're actually heading quite high now. It's a little gums around here, but we can see that mountain ahead of us. It's got a road that twists right round the side, which is where we'll be going. Pretty sure that's up to the top of Mount Skeen in the snow gums. Really pretty. There's a lot of wildflowers out at the moment. A lot of plants are in flower. Might not be able to see off the edges here, but it's looking really good. And you can see the silvery trees. You can see all the dead trees from the couple of fires. We're only a little way further down the road, but looking towards the mountain here, you can see the swathes of dead trees. But everything seems to be regrowing quite well, so pretty good. And then you can see we head up this mountain. It actually circles around the sides. We've pulled into one of the scenic lookouts and I'm looking at the plants, not the lookout, because you can't see all that much. But the plants through here are absolutely beautiful. We are high up. This road's under snow in the middle of June till I think it's the 1st of November it's closed. And you can get an idea of the size of the gums when you look at Fred in comparison. We've stopped right on the top of the mountains. The trees are tiny here, but everywhere you look there's little plants in the grass. Don't know whether you can hear or not, but there's a couple of black-tailed cockies telling us off. I think we're invading their territory. I'll just swivel around. You can see all the plants that are out at the moment, and the snow gums over here. Lots and lots of different coloured flowers. as you pan around this way, you can see all the skeletons of the snow gums that were burned a few years ago. They disappear down into this valley, which we'll get some drone footage of. We've just walked down the track a little bit. It just looks like it keeps going just into the valley. You can see mountains off in the distance. The snow gums everywhere and the burned tops. And all underfoot is the yellow, tiny little shrubby stuff. We're right up the top of the snowfields, looking out over the edge, basically. It's a bit hazy today. We'll try for another shot when we come back. See if it's a bit clearer. It's a fantastic view. You feel like you're on top of the world. We've just come off the top, well, we're still right high up on the ridges of what we think is Mount Skeen. But it's a really, it's not that misty, but it's a overcast, cloudy day today. The sun's been in and out, but the view's absolutely to die for. We'll just swing off the road and swing around to the other side so you can see over here. Wasn't a good idea, there's too many obstructions there. We've come about, I suppose, 30 k's out from Licola. We're on the Mount Tamboritha Road. Quite high up, it's about 1,300 elevation here with snow warnings everywhere. And this is one of the old yards. All of the timber's covered in lichen. And I'll just go around the other side and we'll have a look at the ramp they use to load animals. Big timbers, you can see Fred there and he only just pops up. This is the loading ramp in front. Front of it's got rocks on it. Fred's taking photos of some of the posts. They're completely covered in lichen. Everything's quite cool up here. We've dropped probably 5 degrees since we left Licola. You can see here in the corner post quite clearly all the logs were notched into each other. And at some later stage they've had great big bolts drilled through, but they're huge. We're at Horseyards Flat Campground, where we used to come probably 35 years ago. Doesn't look anything like it used to. There was a big open area here. It's very tall grass at the moment, but it's on the Moroka River, so we're in the right place, but totally different. Beautiful trees. And we'll just go down and have a look at the river. Pretty little river, but it's so overgrown now. This is another bit of the Moroka River, a bit more open here, but the grass is quite long to get down to it at the moment. I don't remember ever seeing quite this amount of growth around it. We've seen a few little trout in the river, so there's obviously fish still here. There's a walk you can do from this area into the first falls on the Moroka, but it's 3 hours return, so we won't be doing that today. This is all that's left of the old open section of Horseyards. Used to be probably much bigger than a football field, but all the area around it is fenced so that the plants can grow again. That looks totally different. And there's a toilet, fire pits, tables and chairs, all sorts of amenities here. Standing in the middle of Horseyard Flats, since the last time we've been, all these trees we're looking at are new. This was a very open area. There's fences all round, but back to where those white daisy type flowers are, this was all an open paddock type area. Just do a swivel round. There's a fence, so you can't take a vehicle or camp over there now. And a fence right through the back. One in the middle, and there's some camping over that side. Fire pits, table and chairs, all that sort of thing. Back down towards the river. There's one couple camping in here at the moment that were here when we came in. That's our car over there, which would have still been part of the open area originally. Can't believe it, it was a couple of cricket pitches worth. So it's certainly changed. But we worked out it's probably close to 45 years. May even be a bit more since we camped up here, so yep, long time ago. We're travelling on the Moroka Road, just through a section that's recently been burned out. Just starting to resprout at the top, but it's very open underneath. Still scenic, but it's totally different to anything that we've seen along here. At least these ones are regrowing. The rest of them haven't, so it's really good. We're up fairly high at the moment, just travelling along, still on the Moroka Road. But this area was burned out. It must have been last year because the regrowth is only probably knee high. Up ahead of us, there's a man on a push bike. I just cannot imagine how difficult it would be in this territory on a push bike. But you can see the regrowth off the sides is, some of it's maybe knee height at the most. A few things have regrown in the top, but not very much at all. Just a bit further down the Moroka Road and the hills are all covered with orange. It's egg and bacon. Even the sides of the road, it's just absolutely everywhere. I assume this area's all been burned out, so maybe it's because the regrowth came after the fires. Looks really good though, it's very colourful. We're at Arbuckle Junction, and just to give you some idea how many plants are around, The egg and bacon is beautiful, and as we head up this road you've got your white daisies right down the side. They're out everywhere at the moment. It's really scenic. Some of the egg and bacon plants are probably my height, and some are quite low, depends on if it's a burnt out area or not. Only a little way up the same track, but all over the hills here there's new trees, but they're not nearly as tall as the old trees. The old trees were burned, we assume 2009 fires, and there's dead wood all over the sides of the hill. It's all just rotting down now, so everything's starting to regenerate quite well. There's the daisies through here as well. Just looking out here, all the dead trees are much taller, but the little daisies on the side and the trees coming up now are really looking magnificent. There's that much new growth on the sides of the road.
Just stopped for lunch, so just thought I'd get out and take a bit of a video of the area.
Just pulled off the Howard Road, and we're right high up in the snow gums. There's a paper daisy at the base of a snow gum, but just check out the snow gum. The colours in it, I don't know if they'll come up, but they're unreal. We'll just swing around here. There's a few more down here on the ground. There's lots of little ones at the moment. One of the cuttings in the road back down to Licola. As you can see, it's quite bumpy. Another one of the cuttings. We're not that far out of Licola, probably about 30-35 k's. We're still on the unmade road at this stage. This is the Wellington River, one of the little campsites on the Tamboritha Road. It's quite scenic. Plenty of water coming through. And there's a really big rock face here, which I'll have to zoom out. Oop, wrong one. Just give you it's the top, and it goes right round. The ridge goes right round. I don't know if you can hear the water in the background, but there's plenty of it going through here. Lots of plants along the water's edge. Probably snakes, we've seen a couple today. We're on the road just out of Licola, heading up the opposite side today. This is more like we remember, tiny little roads, not much room to pass. We're still in station country.
Target Creek Road.
Creek Road, heading up towards the top this side. So this hasn't changed much at all. Hasn't got any less bumpy.
Well, we've made our way into our old camping spot here, and it's still the same, no one here. Unfortunately though, with a lot of the four-wheel drives, they've rutted the track up pretty high. You need almost high clearance now to get into it. Camp was just up on that little hill there. That's where we used to make camp.
The Barclay River, we've come down the Middle Ridge Road, which is a whole lot of U-turns, non-maintained track. It's a beautiful little river. We used to fish and camp down here quite a bit. We've come up the Barclay River Road just a bit from the bridge where I took the last photos. And this is Rumps Flat. It's a area we used to camp sometimes. Nice cleared area with the creek rumbling at the back of us. I can't believe it now, there's a toilet in here, tables and chairs, fire pits. But I must say there's not a skerrick of rubbish around. Just over here the drop down goes to the creek, and then up the other side there's a very steep ridge. Just go around this way, you can see the fire pits here, the table and chairs. Lovely flat area to camp here too. This is where we were having lunch at Rumps Flat. There's a little walk down to the river. There's actually growing here some maidenhair fern. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but it only grows in really damp places. And this is a little rock bank on the river. Really pretty. I'm being a bit cautious around here because years ago when we camped up here there were snakes everywhere, and I assume it's just the same. The river's really clear, and there is trouting here. We've seen trout caught here. We're back on Target Creek Road coming back. I hadn't realised how much farmland was through here. Goes for miles, really. And a lot of the areas where we've just been is also farmland, which I'm sure it wasn't in the old days. Or it probably was leased, but people didn't use it. It's a nice drive through here. The road's in good shape, though it's still pretty skinny. That's a huge new house down there. Standing down on the edge of the McAllister River, this is one of the forts on the other side there that we can come out. We're blowing a gale down here at the moment. We were just flying the drone and it was having a really hard time. Beautiful stretch of the river. Coming back the opposite way along the Jamieson and Licola Road now, standing in the shadow because it's still early. It's only about, I think, 9:30. Swinging around, you can see the road goes around up the other hill. It's a little hazy off in the distance. Just come out. Doesn't help much.
Well, we've come to Licola, and this is a Lions Club. And as you can see, this is a view out from our little villa where we're staying here. It's a bit bigger than we thought inside, so I'll take you inside and show you.
And a bit older.
And a bit older probably too.